A journal that carries the weight of 1,000 years. Every story begins with a question. What if you discovered that an ancient journal, buried beneath layers of dust and time, held not just the history of the past, but the future of your own soul? This is the story of Aliyah, a girl who thought she knew who she was. A quiet life, a sleepy town, an empty space where her parents' memories should be. Then, in the forgotten corner of her grandfather's library, she finds a journal, leather-bound, heavy, and pulsing with something that doesn't quite feel like ink and paper. Some of the pages are written in a strange script, some in symbols she's never seen, and some feel like they're whispering. That moment marks the end of her old life, because this journal doesn't simply tell stories, it carries a prophecy, one that began 1,000 years ago with a curse. A kingdom and a love that burned through lifetimes. Aliyah is not just a reader of this story. She's its continuation. When the past begins to follow you. The journal starts to change Aliyah's dreams. Night after night, she sees a city in flames. Ancient stone temples crumbling. A figure in a silver cloak reaching out to her, whispering her name in a voice both unknown and deeply familiar. She wakes up with the taste of smoke and the weight of history pressing down on her chest. These dreams aren't imagination, they're memories. But whose? With the help of Rafe, her childhood friend and a quiet scholar of forgotten languages, she begins to decode the journal. It belonged to a long-lost princess of a civilization erased from maps. A girl destined to be reborn when the world needed her most. A girl who died to protect something so powerful, it had to be hidden across centuries. The more they read, the more the lines blur between who Aliyah is and who she once was. The future written in ancient ink. The journal isn't just a story. It's a guide, a warning, a map. Within its pages are tales of magical stones buried beneath the earth, keys to shifting time itself. Aliyah and Rafe discover the legend of the Eternal Stone, a mythical artifact that, in the wrong hands, could destroy entire civilizations. And someone is looking for it. A secret society known as the Keepers of Silence has spent generations hunting for the one who can unlock its power. They believe that person is Aliyah. Suddenly she's being followed. Her home is ransacked. Shadows move where no light falls. The Keepers don't want the truth revealed. They want control, and they'll do anything to get it. A love that refuses to die. As the pages unravel, so does Aliyah's heart, because within this journal, within the lines and symbols, is the story of a girl and a boy who loved each other beyond reason, beyond time. She learns that Rafe was once more than her friend. 1,000 years ago he was her protector, her lover, the knight who died with her name on his lips. And now he's here again, reborn, unknowingly repeating history. But he doesn't remember, not yet. The deeper they dive into the journal, the more their connection reignites. But with every new truth comes a new danger. The prophecy doesn't just speak of reunion, it speaks of sacrifice. If Aliyah awakens the full power locked inside her, it could destroy Rafe once again. Now she must make a choice, follow her heart, or break it to save the world. Cities of dust, temples of fire. Their search leads them to forgotten places, ruins beneath cities, libraries abandoned by time, catacombs where ancient symbols glow in the dark. Each new location feels familiar to Aliyah, as though her feet had walked these stones long before. They discover the names of the 4 guardians, beings, sworn to protect the Eternal Stone. Each was betrayed. Each fell in war. The journal reveals the hidden betrayal that shattered the ancient kingdom from within. Greed, love, power, the same themes that now echo in Aliyah's own time. The journal is no longer just a key, it's a countdown. And time is running out. The final trial. With the truth revealed, the last page of the journal begins to change. New ink appears, writing itself as Aliyah breathes. The message is clear. She must return to the place where it all began. The ruins of a temple buried beneath the sea, where the Eternal Stone lies dormant. But the Keepers have followed her there. They know what she carries, and they have Rafe. The final trial is not one of power, but of will. Aliyah stands alone in the Chamber of Echoes, the Eternal Stone pulsing at her fingertips, the journal in her hand, her past behind her, her future unwritten. One spell and she can change everything. But the cost may be the one she loves. She remembers the final line of the journal, written across the first page the moment she opened it. What you choose, history will remember. And she chooses not to follow fate. She chooses to write her own. An ending that feels like a beginning. When the stone is sealed, the temple collapses around her. Time resets. The keepers vanish like smoke. Rafe wakes up with tears in his eyes and no memory of why. But he knows her. Deep down, his soul still remembers. And that is enough. Elia returns to the world not as a girl, haunted by dreams, but as a woman who understands her place in the story. The journal's final page fades to white. The magic has done its work. Now it's hers to continue. In the final moments, Rafe reaches for her hand and says what she's always longed to hear. You feel like home. The story doesn't end there. It never really does. Why you'll want to listen to this as an audiobook? Because every page feels like a secret being whispered into your ears. Because the emotions are raw, the dialogue honest, and the world so richly built you can almost taste the air in those ancient cities. Because Elia's journey is one of identity, destiny, and fierce love. And hearing it aloud makes it that much more personal. Because this is the kind of story that lingers in your thoughts, long after the final chapter. Final thoughts. The Journal of the 1,000 Year is not just a fantasy. It's a story of memory and choice, of history that refuses to stay buried, of love that bends the rules of death and time. It invites you to wonder, who were you before you were born? What stories live in your blood? What will you do with the pages given to you? If you love stories where ancient magic meets modern hearts, where romance burns slow and fierce, and where every clue pulls you deeper into a world bigger than time itself, then you'll love this audiobook. Because this isn't just about a girl reading a journal. It's about becoming the person who writes the ending. Would you like me to also turn this into an audiobook, script or promo script format for marketing purposes?